today's the day, baby.
It's so like weirdly wholesome.
It's not that deep, except when it is, and then it's
actually that deep.
catch up or
up.
just enjoy the ride.
You can go fuck yourself.
Sit and spin, baby.
Such a bitch.
So today we're not going to start you out with a blurb because
we have talked about this book 60,000 times.
So many times over the course of the last almost year. And we decided to take it back. Take it back now, y'all. We're going to take you back to the beginning because we needed like a Grumpy Sunshine, and Crystal's like, I wish there was a Grumpy Sunshine novella. And
because it's June and it's Crystal's month.
June, and Crystal really just wanted that Grumpy Sunshine feeling. Ugh. And we were like, wait a second. All that we want to read right now
is Ice Planet
Barbarians.
And
we're like 16 books in. And by 16 books in, I mean, we're on like Ice Planet Barbarian book, like 16 and 17. That doesn't even include like the Ice Home books or the in-between books. Like we are all in, baby. And we're like, you know what? We never got to fully sit here and talk and deep dive Ice Planet Barbarians. So today's the day, baby.
And it's funny because what is there to deep dive? Blue aliens.
Nothing.
Because it's funny because the further along in the series you get, the more in-depth the books actually do get. So there's more story.
Yes. It becomes a little bit less just for funsies. Like you get invested. For instance, I am finishing up Gail's Family right now, which is, I don't know what book, but it's in there. And I was sitting there tearing
some,
up.
Like emotional bits. The further along you go, you get so invested. It's so like weirdly wholesome. And
so we're going to talk about Ice Planet Barbarians today.
Yay! I'm so excited. And so, okay.
I'm so excited.
The journey of how this all happened, I will explain to you, which I'm sure people already know, but it's fine. Here's the thing. This book was pushed to me during our like phase of starting to read more monster books. And this kept getting pushed to me consistently. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Fine.
And I had seen it on TikTok for months.
Right. And so I read it and I was like, oh, I love it.
But I was like,
and then
maybe.
And then I read the most ridiculous and long review of this book.
The review was longer than the book almost.
The review was basically longer than the blurb. I currently can't find it. No idea where it is. It is heavily buried in Goodreads right now.
That, and I feel like you sent me screenshots of it.
I did, yeah, and I don't feel like going through our entire conversation.
Oh, okay.
I'm too lazy. Because it was a long time ago that I sent these screenshots, and we send
about a year ago
stuff back and forth. Yeah. That would take a long time to find.
And I'm a hoarder and I don't delete shit.
I told her, I'm like, you need to go read this review, because originally it was literally on the front page of Goodreads and it was something you could see easily accessible because it was a very popular review. Yeah. And the review itself took this book way too seriously. It is literally blue alien smut.
They were like,
that is all you need to
dissertation.
Know. They were talking about the heteronormative stuff and
as if it was this like things work that had been published under the guise of the best that today's literature has to offer as the greatest piece of literature there ever was written. That was basically like,
it's about blue aliens and fucking
and spurs.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Like it's not that deep, except when it is, and then it's
actually that deep.
But yeah, then it's not that serious.
So I had her go read this book and I was like, I can't be the only one reading this. So I made her read it. And thank God she did. And then recently we
made Angie
read it. So and she is slow
was at like an uneven number for her
month, like a couple months ago.
Yeah, a couple months ago. And she is almost as neurotic as me. And well, I don't care about that exactly. That is one of hers, and she needs her monthly reads to be like an even number. And she's like, quick, give me a novella so I can read it. And we're like,
Ice Planet Barbarians.
Ma'am, you know what we've been
and
talking
guess what?
about?
She is
for
on
months?
This roller coaster with us, and it's
she
great.
Is so on this ride.
Listen,
she would be here today if she wasn't at a graduation. Big fat sad.
Yes, Angie is just busy, and it's okay.
So she's here with spirit. She's here in spirit.
She's here in spirit, and she will be joining us at some point throughout the rest of this year.
Yes.
So yeah, so we decided, fuck it, we were trying to fill in the hole for the book.
Much like they did.
Because the next Grumpy Sunshine is actually a much longer book. It is not a novella, but
and it's a request.
It was a request, and I haven't read it.
A couple of those coming up.
We have a couple of those coming up, which is great, and we love it. So please send in all the requests.
Yeah, send in requests.
Here for
we love
it.
Those.
Love it. So we just, you know what? We just thought, let's do this. And also, I will be fully honest, I never paid attention to the fact that there was a slight sensitivity warning at the beginning of this book, because I skipped right to page 1.
I have that highlighted for us.
Perfect.
So we're bringing you back to the beginning. Ice Planet Barbarians.
By Ruby Dixon.
By Ruby Dixon. While this is your warning that we will also be talking about Ice Planet Barbarians in general, extending past the first one.
Yep.
This is your warning. So
if you don't want the series spoiled for you, sorry.
Catch up. Or just enjoy the ride.
And honestly, as you read this series, please tell us, because we are so
we are so invested
into this series. We want to talk about it.
We want to talk about it. So like chat with us. Yeah.
Ruby Dixon,
and we have been really shitty about it.
And she said,
but come join us in the Facebook group that we actually haven't been doing, or I don't even know if I'm in there at all.
The book
because we haven't talked about it at all, but
like email us.
Crystal made a Facebook group. We just didn't really advertise about it. So join us in the Facebook group, and we'll talk about Ice Planet Barbarians.
We'll do that. You can message us on like Instagram and TikTok, and we will talk your ear off about it. And then I don't know, email us. We'll totally do that. Like everything.
Maybe we'll do another Ice Planet Barbarians episode. You can join us.
So totally do. My brain's sorted out. We would love to have you.
But this particular starting book.
Oh yes.
Features abduction, survival situations, food shortages, a side character is raped by an alien, and our hero's introduction features dubious consent, which honestly,
the majority of them have dubious consent. There's a language barrier. That's not an excuse, but I'm just saying.
None of it is like dubious consent, like dark romance dubious consent. Yeah. It's more like, oh, hey, you want to pleasure me? Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Listen, Crystal needed something after
join us on the ride.
Join us on this ride, and we will give you a ride.
We'll take you on a journey.
So the book opens with
usually
Georgie.
What we do with books.
Huh? Turn on my Kindle so it doesn't technically open the book. So you can go fuck yourself.
Sit and spin, baby.
Okay. Such a bitch. Yeah. So Georgie is our FMC, and she has never believed in aliens until last night when she was home, dozing off on the couch because she had been out doing things, and she stumbles into bed. She's got like weird dreams of walking in a tunnel and seeing an oncoming train, and a light happens, except when she goes to raise her hand, it doesn't move. And all of a sudden she's awake, and she is not entirely sure where she is. And her eyes open, and it smells like sewer, and there's just a wall behind her, and her body hurts so much. She is drugged. Oh, there's some drugging in this book too. Sorry about that, guys. And she is swinging her drugged heavy head, looking around the room, and she realizes that she is not alone.
Apparently it wouldn't be spring without a little drugging for the Smutty Book Club.
I know. She is not alone, and there are a bunch of other people curled up and asleep, and she is in a cell. She starts to panic a bit. But a hand touches her, telling her not to scream. It's a girl, and this girl is about her age, but she is blonde and thinner than Georgie. Apparently, they have all been drugged, and it wears off eventually. We also learned that this blonde-haired woman's name is Liz. I love Liz.
Throwback.
Well, not really.
I know.
This whole book is a throwback. It's so wild,
I
like
just teared
reading.
up about her reuniting with her children.
I know, I know. So Liz informs her that she was, spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
Liz has children. Liz informs her that she was abducted by aliens, and she correctly guesses that all of them have stuff in common, which is they all live alone, they're not pregnant, they have no major health issues, and no nearby family
And
at
they're
all.
all the same age.
And all the same age. Every single girl on the ship, except for Megan, has the same story. Megan, oh, and this part I forgot about. Megan was pregnant. Megan is no longer pregnant. And Liz has been here for 2 weeks. Kira has been there for a lot longer. And Kira currently has an earpiece in her ear, which is a translator. There is so much information for this poor woman. And she eventually cries herself to sleep. When she wakes up, she finds out there is no toilet. There is tiny bricks of food that look like dried seaweed, and they taste like absolute shit. She also has welts on her arm, and everything is just crazy. And all of a sudden, there are multiple aliens that come in, and they are like basketball headed looking motherfuckers. And they are creepy and leering at them. And of course, they can't freak out because bad things can happen if they start to freak out. And soon, there is a new girl shoved into the cage. And
Dun-dun-dun.
there are aliens, and they're just basically talking in their own little language, taking bets on this new girl. Georgie is huddled down next to Liz, and the new girl starts to cry. And of course, Georgie tells her that she needs to not scream, but this girl is not listening, and she starts to panic and she starts to scream. And all of a sudden, there's a beep. Beep, beep.
She doesn't know why she needs her not to scream, but she was told it, so she needs to pass it
right?
on.
I would shut the fuck up too. And there's this little beep coming through the intercom, and then all of a sudden, the aliens are coming back out, and they grab the new girl, and they do some things to her against her will. And of course, that's all we're gonna say about it. And of course, these stupid alien motherfuckers are laughing at the exact same time that they're doing this as well. This is just, it's awful. Now all these girls need to come up with a plan to get the fuck out of here. So Georgie suggests that they're gonna start off killing the guards, and that the little green men, who are like the head honchos of this ship, have the basketball headed men doing all the grunt work. So there's two separate kinds of aliens, the green ones and then the giant headed,
the orange ones.
They think that if they can get rid of the orange head dudes, they can bully their way into demanding a return to Earth. Liz thinks this is a flawed plan. Smart idea, Liz. Very flawed plan.
Liz ain't no dummy.
Because these men have guns, but they're really going to try to come together to like sync up a plan. Liz thinks that maybe they need to make a distraction, open the doors up, rush them, take their guns, take control. All of this solid kind of planning, but and that they just have to make sure that Kira is protected because she is the one who has the translator. And they're not going to be able to convince...
She's the only one who can understand them.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to convince these aliens to turn around and go back to Earth without it. So, awesome. Sounds great. It's going to be a great plan. The ship, though, keeps like lurching along, and they're thinking, wow, this fucking turbulence sucks. And they don't even know what's going on. Kira can make out that something is going on with the engine because she, again, has the translator so she can hear these things. And Georgie thinks that they need to move ahead with their plan. Of course, the girls, not fully convinced, but Georgie calls to one of the guards and then spits on him. This guy, not happy about it. And he comes over and she thinks that she's going to dump the shit bucket that they have in their cage on him. Of course, she doesn't realize how heavy this thing is. And she's also very, very weak from not eating a lot. And she ends up spilling it on not only her, but also the alien. Kira hears an announcement overhead and says that the detachment is commencing. And all of a sudden, the lights go out and it's dark. And a red light flickers. And oh no, that's definitely not good because red lights are always emergency lights. And what the hell is going on? All of a sudden, there's no gravity happening, and Georgie sees a gun, so she takes the gun and cracks the guard over the head, and she keeps beating him, and she does. She beats him. Liz tells her to stop, telling her the dude is definitely dead. And all of a sudden, Kira comes running through and says, we've got bigger problems. The message overhead now says prepare for a reentry, which means they're definitely crashing. And then something smacks Georgie over the head and everything goes black. And then she finally wakes up with Liz asking her if she's okay and being informed that they have crashed.
Georgie, you okay? You okay? You okay, Georgie?
2 people have died from their own group of girls, but they have landed because the floor in the ship is cold and tilted. And they can also see through like a little scrape in the hull that there are snowflakes going on outside. Kira says that she heard enough through her earpiece that these aliens were dumping them at a safe location for a return pickup at a later date, which that's not great. Who wants that to happen? So they all kind of gather together and decide that they're really hungry. So they need to figure out food if they're supposed to ride this out and wait for these stupid little green men to arrive. We also learn that they are not the only ones on this ship. There's a group of girls that are inside of pods. So now there's a ton more, but they're not going to wake them up because all they know.
They're in this sort of like stasis in these pods.
Right. So they don't even know about all these little green men existing and they don't want to wake them up. And then they also have to find a way to feed everybody. So like having these girls awake, terrible idea. So the girls all have banded together to decide that, Georgie, you're the leader of this group now. Somebody's got to do it. And she's tired of nobody having ideas. So they need to consider their options. They can't stay there and starve to death or freeze. And the sun is shining right now, but they don't know how long they have until night or how long night is going to last. So Georgie is going to go exploring and figure out if there's a city nearby. So she's going to have to climb out of this hole in the roof. And she's going to need more clothes because it's fucking cold outside. They strip the alien of his clothing, like the dead dudes, so that she can have something warm to wear. And then she's going to head out. When she gets outside, the wind isn't too bad. And there's like 2 suns shining overhead, which is insane. And she's trying to basically explain this to the girls. And she explains it as the planet Hoth from Star Wars. So they decided to call it not Hoth. Out Georgie goes. And she's going to continue walking, trying to find something, food, civilization, anything. So she keeps walking. So anyways, so she sees some trees and she's like, oh, fuck yeah, trees. There's got to be something around here. And she ends up hearing liquid. She goes, oh my God, water. So she heads over towards the sound and it's coming from the same direction as these weird tall stalks of tree thingies. And when she gets up there, she like leans down to the surface, she's got her hand on one of the stalks. And all of a sudden, she is greeted with this gigantic face and a mouth and jagged teeth. And apparently, these stalks are creatures. And she is scared absolutely fucking shitless. And then she starts running. And as she passes one of the trees, something whips around her ankles. And she barely has any time to scream before the thing drives her fucking back upwards. And she's hauled upside down. And oh my God, now she's caught in a fucking trap. And she sees a white furry figure approaching her and she goes, fuck, it's too late. I am dinner now. She can't escape. And then her head is starting to throb because obviously she is upside down. So, oh no. And then we get Vectel, who is our MMC of the book. Love this man. He is great. He has no idea what he is seeing because something is squirming in his trap, which is new. And all of a sudden he just goes close by in his kui because it's put in there like queen.
So that has been a very big conversation on TikTok and whatnot, and between the two of us, because a lot of people pronounce this in different ways, but it's literally written out in the book, like the way that someone would verbalize it, and like just qui, 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 qui.
And we forgot so many times, but it's queen, guys. And his qui. It's resonating inside of him. It purrs, basically. He doesn't know what purring is, but
what is a qui?
You'll find out. And he's like, oh my God, what is happening? Like, this thing has laid dormant for so long, and it recognizes like no mate amongst my people, but now this like new creature it is singing to. And oh my God, you know what? It's the bitter season, so like hunters have to be super cautious when they're out here. And he snatches the girl in his arms and then he runs towards the nearest hunting cave. So he makes a fire and it makes it so she warms up a bit and he starts to examine her. And of course, she is making him resonate. So she is his and he needs to discover more about her. So he starts undressing her and she is smooth and her flesh is basically completely hairless, and obviously she's super naked. So he sees between her thighs because he strips her down because he doesn't know what is this. And
he's concerned because of the temperature and that she's wet and cold and the snow.
So then he has no sense of anything. And what does he decide to do? He's like, I need to taste her. And then he starts to eat her out because of course.
Well, I mean, do you smell what the Rock is cooking?
He smells what Georgie is cooking between her thighs. Georgie is pretty sure that she is dreaming. And she's like, ugh, this is great because there is a mouth between my legs. But obviously, again, she thinks she is dreaming until she encounters the horns because she's like moving her eye. Fuck, there's horns, and realizes this is not a dream and this is real and this monster is eating me. But like, not in the he wants to eat me sense, but he wants to eat me out sense. And she's like a little freaked out, but then she starts laughing because this entire thing is fucking absurd. And he is also really, really, really good at what he is doing. So, of course, he is still exploring her and then he eats her to orgasm. And before he can fuck her, because then he goes, oh, in his brain, he's thinking, oh, this is my mate. We're going to fucking mate, man. He decides to flip her over and she freaks the fuck out because, duh, she doesn't want that to happen. And she ends up kicking him because obviously she doesn't want to do this against her will because obviously Vectel is like shocked and he's like, what? Why? My mate, my resonance of my Kui, my new reason for existing has just planted her tiny, strange foot in my chest and kicked. It's almost as if she doesn't want to mate. He also doesn't understand any words that she is saying to him. And she's like yelling at him and smacking him. And he snarls at her because obviously he gets a little bit of pain when she kicks him in his teeth. And she immediately goes still and she goes, oh shit. And he is sick at this reaction from her because this is his mate. And like, how can she totally think that I'm gonna hurt her? And he goes, oh my God, someone has totally hurt my mate in the past. And he goes and looks at her and she's got bruising all over. And he's trying to ask her, like, who the fuck did this to you? And obviously there's a huge language barrier and she's trying to talk and he doesn't understand.
Of course not. He doesn't speak English.
No, he is like woman mine. Yes. And he loves having his face buried between her legs. But it's also clear from her reaction that like, he's currently the only one feeling this way. But he's like shocked.
Well, she was just kidnapped by
he
aliens.
Doesn't know this.
But from her perspective, taken from, and now she's dropped on this freaking ice planet. She's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. But you know what? He thinks it's gotta be. What a way
to wake up, though.
It's gotta be right. It's gotta be her lack of a Kui. Like she just doesn't feel the resonance like I do. And he's trying to talk to her. It
can't be one-sided. So
no, she is his mate. Duh. Like she's got it. She's got to feel this, but like it's got to be lack of Kui. Can't be anything else. And she's trying to talk to him, but like they can't understand each other. And so she's trying to teach him her name. And he just all it sounds like is Shorshi, and it's so cute.
So we learn that have we learned no, we haven't learned what they're called yet, but we have learned that these creatures can't pronounce G's. So it's Shorshi.
It's Shorshi. 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 And he's trying to explain to her because he's vibrating and she's like trying to figure it out and he goes resonance and she's just like looking at him.
Why are you just
what?
Buzzing like a
But so they do like the Tarzan.
Are you purring
Jane.
like a cat?
I know. She does do the Tarzan Jane thing like Shorshi. He goes
Shorshi.
Vectel. So
Vectel.
And so then that's what it hits and that Shorshi is her name. She's still a mystery to him because she's got no tail, no fur. She's wearing strange leathers horns. And walks with
and she's got
no weapons.
Weird.
Yeah. It's crazy. And you know what? He's like, you know what? She is my mate. I'll do whatever it is necessary to keep this woman. She's just happy that he's got fire. It's fucking
he's got the fire.
And now her stomach is grumbling and she's fucking hungry. And she thinks that her tummy grumbling is making him think that it's sex time. But no, he's taken his fur cape off because he was taking clothing off. And it's just to put on the floor of the cave. And he has just, this man. He's just a beautiful specimen. But maybe this man has actual food. instead of those stupid seaweed bars that she was eating before. So he starts handing her like these little meat mixed with oatmeal like bars, and he's trying to get her to eat it. And she's like, oh my God, I could kiss him right now, fangs and all. And she's like, thank you. And then she's like, I cram the entire piece in my mouth and begin to chew. Right away, I can tell it's a mistake. The taste is awful. So
Well,
bad.
not only that, but it is so spicy that her mouth is literally on fucking fire.
It's that, and it's got like a mealy texture to it and everything, and it's gross, and she starts
everything about
gagging.
It is not good.
Yeah, but he gives her water, which has like a little bit of a citrusy taste to it, which is, I think, fabulous. That's great for water. And she's like trying to like drink the water to like help, and he like looks shocked that she's like not eating this food, and she goes, "Isn't my mouth? It's literally your food is the problem." He can't understand what is happening. And he keeps trying to get her to eat this. And she's like, I wish to God I could eat this, but I literally fucking can't. And she's crying, and he starts wiping the tears around because she's had a really rough. She falls asleep. And when she wakes up, she is warm and she is cuddled up against Bechtel, and she's like touching him, and she's like, ooh, it's like sweetie, because she can also hear the purring going on. She's like, you know what? Not really the worst place on the planet to be because this man is warm. And she is just cuddling it up next to him, and her stomach does the little rumbling thing again, and he just like squints at her, and she's like, I know. And he tries to unwrap the food again, and she just is like, don't want that. This is not great. So he starts getting up to go. It's just
big fat nope.
Big fat fucking absolutely not. But she gets a good look at him, and he is fabulous looking. He is smoky blue, and he's got like ridges along like his body everywhere, and like there's so many ridges on this man. We are like simping over this goddamn blue alien man. Are you kidding me?
Oh, at least Crystal is.
Listen, all of these books, yes. Don't worry, you guys will be too when you find out their little extra piece.
Yes. Yep.
And if you read
about that,
if you listen to our Horde King
Desert
episode,
Planet Barbarians.
Desert Planet Barbarians, we mentioned Ice Planet Barbarians in it.
Like I said, we've been talking about this for a while.
This was so long. I think I read this like a year ago. It's great.
It's been a long time.
And as soon as she stands, she gets like spots in her eyes because obviously she is hungry. But he ends up leading her out of the cave, and she follows with him. There's like fresh snow that has fallen overnight, and she's like, fuck, so much for providing all of my goddamn supplies. And he tells her basically to get on his shoulders, and it's so that he can piggyback her, which is so cute. But she is stunned because he is fast. And then she goes, great, now I've got Stockholm syndrome, because obviously like she is feeling this man. And they start going down the mountainside. She's trying to get him to stop because she's trying to express that they need to go save the other people. She needs to go up there, but he is pointing to the forest below because he's like, no, we gotta go down this way. And she understands that they need food first. And listen, all Vector can think of is when his mate climbs on his back, he has to fight his pleasure. She is cold and upset and hungry over fucking something, but the need to please her eats at his insides. And he has plans for her later, but they need to go get food. So there's a large boulder that he can use as a lookout on the other side of the valley, and the weather doesn't bother him, but it does bother his mate, and he is going to protect her with his life if he must.
With his life.
Yeah. He understands that their communication is very difficult to do. And
Tarzan, you chain.
Yeah. And that, once she understands, she will spread those soft pink thighs for him again, and he'll have her on his tongue, and he will bury his cock inside of her and feel the resonance reverberate between the two of them. And he's getting hard just literally thinking about this. Yeah. But he's, telling her it's fine. You're going to stay here. We're going to get food, and he's going to hunt. He finds the snowcat thing, kills it, slices its throat with his knife, and then he starts cutting it open and draining it and cutting it into pieces so that he could feed it to her. Raw meat, by the way, because yeah. And he of course
that's how he likes it.
That is, and of course he wants to share like the best parts of this thing. So he's trying to give her the heart. No, she's like, no, please cook it. And he's like,
no, please.
You want to burn the food? Do you not understand what this is?
And he just like delicacy.
He takes a bite and the blood is like bursting in his mouth. And she's just like, oh my God, that's so gross. Again, he can't understand her. And he's like telling her to eat. And she ends up eating it
reluctantly,
very reluctantly. And she drinks the water and, it's one thing at a time. She's, we got to take care of this woman very carefully. And because the last thing he wants her to do is stumble into a snowcat den. And he wants to protect her. And she's like walking a little too close though to the stream that they have found. And he like instantly pulls her back and he feels bad because he thinks that he's hurt her. And she goes, no, it's fine. Her wrist was already hurt from the crash. But he apologizes again. Neither one of them can understand anything that each other is saying to each other. And instead, he's like, all right, I'm going to show her how to drink from this. So he has a stick from a tree and he throws it in so he can like have the little fangy fish thing attack it. And then he throws in his little soap bubble bead thingies, berries, and they don't like the taste of that.
Crystal's really up on the terminology here.
And of course they don't like these and that they're not going to return. So they're good. They can go in. These also double as soap to wash her body with. So he's also trying to walk her through that because obviously this one smells. Oh, well, she does. And she wants to wash. So he's showing her how to wash. But I mean, he wasn't paying attention to how dirty she was. Because again, he was turned on by her the whole time. So like he didn't even like understand what was happening. But it's fine. So he strips down and all she can think of is, oh my God, hung like a horse never really had much of a meaning until now. And I try not to stare and I fail because this man has a gigantic dick and he has a little nub.
Save a horse, ride a cowboy,
ride an alien. So yeah, he is a 7-foot tall man, and it's size appropriate for a 7-foot tall man.
And then some.
Yeah, and he is erect, and it has ridges on it, and also he has a little knob about an inch or so above it. And she just says, I feel like
a spur.
Yep. I feel like there's an alien bingo card somewhere that just got checked off. Horns, check. Tail, check. Crazy ass cock, check, check, check. And she's distracted by this whole thing. But she cleans and then he washes her hair for her. It's so cute. But she can hear the vibrating.
He's taking care of his mate.
He is. Not that she knows that she is his mate currently. But she is, and she can feel the vibration in his chest. And he is just washing her hair, though he is not touching her, and he's just enjoying washing her. And as he continues to try to call her by her name, at one point he calls her Corgi, which was so funny. And she thinks all of this is hilarious.
She keeps trying to correct the short sheet.
She's trying to get him to. He does end up finally saying it, but it's like, Georgie. It was so funny. And she is trying to convince him to take her up the mountain by seducing him and making promises. This man can't understand her, by the way. And then she is like, I'll give you a kiss. And he has no idea what kissing is. So she's like, I can show you more things if you take me up the mountain. She goes, I know I'm playing with fire, but like offering sexual favors in exchange for rescue, probably not like the best plan, but like it's all she's got to work with. So she ends up kissing him and she's like, take me to the mountain and Georgie will kiss you again. And you know what? That's enough for him. So he puts her back on his shoulders and they set off towards the mountain. But then she realizes that They're like going up the hill, but they're not actually going to the mountain. He's trying to take her. You can't just go in one shot. She doesn't know these things. And she's getting frustrated. And she goes, no, we need to go up the mountain. And he's like trying to basically tell her, like, no, you're cold. We're going to stay here for the night. We're not going up the mountain. Instead, she decides to fucking stomp off. And he's like, no, but he's not quite fast enough. And she steps too close to the cliff wall and she falls right into a pit. And all she can see is 24 eyes just staring back at her. And now she knows she is in super, super deep shit. And she is like shocked. So these creatures that she sees, they look kind of like an ugly puppy. That is exactly how she describes them. They're bug-eyed yeti things, and it looks like an ugly puppy.
In my mind, have pictured these creatures like, I'm gonna get so much shit for this, but I've never actually entirely watched The Lord of the Rings or anything like that. That weird, like, sickly. Okay, I always pictured
Gollum?
like a Dobby.
Are you talking about Gollum?
Yeah, I always pictured like a cross between like Gollum and Dobby, and like. So that's what I always in my head was like a Gollum and a
they look like ugly dogs.
But like Gollum, Dobby, like super slimmed down and like gangly as fuck, like with the big eyes and the.
So that's not what they look like.
That's what they look like in my mind, and you're not going to change it.
I know. They're bug-eyed yeti things, and it has a tail. Yeah. Where she's getting this from, I don't know. And it almost looks like an ugly puppy.
Oh, well, it has
these ugly puppies.
They walk upright.
I know. They are about a foot taller than she is, and she is in trouble, very big trouble. But you know what? Here comes Bechtel. He comes down, and he is yelling at them in a roar. It's not like the.
It's like the beast when it's like the beast when Belle goes out and she finds the wolves and the beast is
she already said that this is basically like Stockholm syndrome. So this is Beauty and the Beast.
But it's that scene when when she goes out and
Ice Planet Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, not Hoth edition. Nuggets. This is why we love this book. Ariel's on theme with her shirt.
Yes, as always.
Yes. But anyway, so Bechtel comes down and he goes, and he like roars at them. Okay. And you know what? He's terrifying, but that's fine. He murders some of them and then he comes and grabs her and pulls her. She's waiting for the like I told you so thing because like obviously she fucked up.
You know what I said in class today?
What?
I said, IDK, my BFF Jill. And I had a seventh grader turn around and go, why did you say IDK like that? Why didn't you just say I don't know?
What have we done to our children?
Right? I was like,
them.
why?
We failed them so miserably.
Why?
We failed. IDK, my BFF Jill. Like, bro, Red Lobster files for bankruptcy. Sorry, I've never been to Red Lobster. I wouldn't like it.
They don't only have lobster. But...
I know, but it's probably mostly seafood, and I don't do that. I've heard their biscuits are really good, though.
They're not bad.
You know what I really want? The bread from the Outback. That bread is so good.
Want Outback Onion Blossom.
I have no money. I can't do that. I don't even know what I'm.
I just don't have no Outback.
That's true. I do have an Outback that delivered to my house. I know this because, I didn't show you. I have 2 more ducks. 2 more koala ducks. I called them a cuck the other day.
Cuck.
I'm like, they're cucks. I'm like, oh, wait. That's not. We can't call them that.
I've got a cuck. Do you have a cuck? We have cucks.
We do not have cucks in this book, though. That's more so where my brain went. And I was like, but they're pink. I have pink ones now, too. Anyways, but yeah, she's totally cool if he wants to, like, play caveman until she's safe, because she wants to get the fuck out of there. And he is angry, and she's kind of freaking out because he's a little bit angry. He's not mad at her. Like, he saves her. It's so sweet. And he feels really bad. And of course, like, he is furious at himself for letting her wander away. And he's so mad that the Metlax could have hurt her. And, he's known of like kits and stuff that have been torn apart by accident. And he is so like upset with himself. And he's, telling her like, it's not going to happen again. I am going to take so much better care of you starting now. And, he ends up building her a really big fire. And, it's not great to use all the supplies in this hunter cave thing, but you know what? She's warm and comfortable, and that's all that matters. And she asks him for one of his knives because she wants to protect herself. So he's like, you know what? That's fine. Tomorrow I'm gonna totally teach her how to use it and stab in case she's ever attacked again. They'll run if they're endangered. So he's gonna help. And then so now they have food and she wants him to cook her food. It goes against every single fucking instinct this man has to cook this, but he does. He does it for her. And it's so cute. But he's gotta like get more supplies. So he's gonna go out, find some Divisti dung. I think those are the cats. No? No, those are like the goat things. I think it's a goat thing. I don't know. I just have it in my brain that it's a goat every time in future books. So,
it's like a yaki kind of thing.
A what?
In my head. A yak?
Oh, that's what I'm like a yaki. What the fuck is a yaki? I think of it as a goat. So our knowledge of the animals in this book, not great.
It's because they don't actually exist in real life.
No. But yes, so he has set snares for more of the beasts and birds and, but, he's like, Georgie is so determined to go up this mountain. So we can't carry a lot of meat. And if she was another Sakui, there it is, which is what he is, it would be easy, but she is delicate and not nearly as strong as even his weakest warriors. So it's fine. So he's going to go back to the cave and he tells her, tomorrow we're going to go to the mountain. Sounds great. Fabulous. And they start like kind of learning each other's language a little bit, like learning fire for fire, furs, blah, blah, blah. And they start running out of things to name. So she is like, oh, this is my hair. And he goes, horns and face and skin. Girl, you're playing a dangerous fucking game.
She's okay to play it.
Yeah. So she's flirting with him pretty hard. And all she can think of is like, is he attractive for his people? Because like he's attractive for me. And all of these things he's just got an amazing, amazing body. And he is horny. It's got a lovely erection going on right now. And they're gonna bang, by the way. And she just tells him, like, I'm not on the pill, not that it matters now. And I'm pretty sure that since we're different species, you can't get pregnant. Joke's on her.
You sure about that?
You sure about that? You sure about that? And he's just like staring at her and she's like touching him. And so she just decides to make the first move. She cannot get his pants off, by the way. Really hard. But he just takes it off in one swift move. And then they kiss each other. And she's showing him how to kiss with tongue, which is great. And there's ridges on this man's tongue too. Oh my God. And he's really, really good at kissing. And then he starts to explore her body, which is great for her. And then she like grabs his dick. And he's like, oh yeah, this is great. Which game on, motherfucker. And then he ends up eating her out, which is great. And he tongue fucks her, which also great, especially with those ridges. Hell fucking yeah. So lovely. And then she starts stroking him and she's like, ooh, that knob. I have no idea what that's for, but like, this sounds fabulous. And yeah, they fuck. And it's great. And all Vector could think about is, I cannot wait for her to swell with my child. They have two completely different ideas as to what's happening.
Because that's normal.
Listen, this is his mate. They know nothing else. And then, from now on until his spirit
and she's all like,
this plane,
dick.
And all he thinks of is, from now on until my spirit departs this plane, there shall be none for me but her. He is all fucking
on the Shorshi train.
He is on the Shorshi train. And then so when they wake up, they're like, mountain.
Choo-choo, motherfucker.
Fuck yeah, let's head to the mountain. And he checks all his traps. But then he finds a foot.
Dun,
small,
dun, dun.
bare, 5-toed, like his Georgie. And it's frozen solid. Oh, skiddios. It's a dead body, guys.
You probably shouldn't
Didn't know you were coming that way.
You probably shouldn't have spent all this time fucking around.
Well, he didn't know. He actually has no idea why she wants to go up this mountain.
I meant Shorshi.
Well, you know what? She was distracted by alien dick. I don't know. I would be too.
She got distracted by the dick.
Oh, yeah. So Vexel comes back to the cave and he goes, Georgie, and like
fuck.
utter something else, like basically come with me. It ends up being this lady Dominique who was from the cave. This is the
Spaceship,
redhead who
obviously.
got inappropriate. What was that word?
She was the one who got molested by aliens.
I say inappropriately
Taken advantage of by
touched,
aliens.
and I don't know what
She was
that.
the one who got taken advantage of by aliens.
Yes, and she is crying now because oh my god, like fuck, shitballs. We need to hurry up and get to this mountain.
The rest of them.
Yeah, and he's trying to. She's telling him like human, do mountain. Let's go, bitch. So they're gonna hurry up to this mountain. So they get there, and all of a sudden, a snowball hits Georgie in the face. And you just hear, back the fuck off. You didn't hear it. We read it, but just imagine you're hearing it. And Georgie's like, no. Yo, it's me. It's fine. It's Georgie. Your girl's here. And they're like, okay, who the fuck is that big dude? And she goes, no. It's fine. Really, we're all fucking good.
I found us help.
Yeah, all these girls are dirty as shit. It's Liz, Kira, Megan, Tiffany, and Josie. They're all good. They look like shit, but they're alive, even though they look like shit. And she introduces Vectel and she goes, yo, he's from around these parts. And Liz is just like, he looks like a demon. And Georgie's like, he's nice, I promise. He's been keeping me alive for the last few days. And Josie's like, I don't care if he looks like a demon. Is that a dead animal hanging from his belt? And can we eat it? They are hungry. These girls have been without food. And but Kira can hear what he's saying and he's talking and she's explaining like,
this dude thinks that you're his mate. Like, what the fuck? Do you know what you got yourself into? Do you know what you had to sacrifice to get help here?
Yep. So they're going to utilize Kira to kind of communicate between the two, kind of, because Kira can't talk to him, but she can at least understand him. But he tells them he's going to go hunting and he's going to get some firewood and to keep an eye on his mate. And she's like, what? And Vectel, though, like, he's like, fuck, like, there's 5 other humans. I can't comprehend this, but I have like 20 unmated males back at my village, and there's currently only 5 adult females in our tribe. There hasn't really been too many. And so, damn.
He's all like, this could be the answer to our prayers.
Yes, because, bro, duh.
His tribe has been dying out. They don't have women to help, like, their succession. And all of a sudden, literally, women have fallen at his feet from the sky.
Literally from the sky. And you know what? But he understands that humans need everything. They're not equipped to survive. So he needs to run faster to get all of the things that he needs for them to take care of them. And he's so funny when he comes back and he's trying to like talk to her. So Kira is just kind of translating between what he's saying. And he goes, I'm well, sweet resonance. Did you eat something? You are as small and weak as your fellow humans. And just the way he speaks about them is so funny. He's not even doing it to be mean. He's just never been around humans. They have no idea. So he builds a fire for them and they kind of huddle towards it for warmth. And Georgie's trying to ask about medicine. And he goes, I have no idea what she's fucking saying. I don't have anything that can help her because the humans, especially the pale yellowed haired one, is extremely sick and like is barely hanging in, but she needs medicine for her fucking I don't know. And he explains that it's the Kui sickness, and he goes, I have nothing that can help her. I think Megan's the really sick one right now. So we learn that these women are starting to get sick. It's a Kui sickness, and Megan's like, what's the Kui sickness? And fucking Georgie's like, I don't fucking know. And Kira just translates saying the Kui lives here. Like, that's all they've got. That's literally all they have. But they can kind of tell that Vectel's really possessive of her, and they're like, how is he going to act when he finds out that we don't want to stay on not top? She hasn't thought about
this. Do you think that's a choice?
Yeah, right. She hasn't thought about that. But then Liz is just like, hey, you haven't asked me about Dominique. And she's like, yeah, I saw her dead body in the snow. So Liz explains that on the first night that they were there, they heard some creatures and they hooted like owls and stuff, but they look like skinny teddy bears. So there's a lot of weird descriptions about these things that are all over the place. And so they scared the shit out of him, and fucking Dominique just had a mental breakdown and just like left, and they couldn't find her. But they said they're not even sad because she didn't even want to be alive after what the aliens had done to her.
They're not even sad.
Yeah.
That sounds so awful, though.
It does. But at the same time, I get it.
I know, but like, we're not even sad because, you know.
Well, they said she didn't want to be alive anymore.
She just met these ladies too. Like,
yeah.
People.
So, but they're like, we need to get the fuck out of here. So, great. All Vectel, though, like, can think of is just, it's Georgie. And they are gonna go to sleep. And Georgie's just snuggling with him. Of course, snuggling turns Vectel on. Gonna start kissing again.
Everything turns that man on.
I mean, listen.
It's the
resonance.
Resonance.
Okay, so they're tongue fucking each other.
Fight the resonance.
Yep, they're tongue fucking each other, and then he starts fingering her, and and the girls are in the background like, don't look, go back to sleep. Like they know what's happening right now. Then Georgie is just like, no, and tells him to basically stop, and he does. He's not really happy about it, but Georgie doesn't want him to keep going, so takes his hands off.
He's a good boy.
He is a good boy. Men, take note. I can't believe we're talking to him as if he's like a dog.
Even alien boys know how to use the word no.
Alien boys know consent, even if the first time was iffy consent.
He didn't know.
No. He's just a poor boy, poor innocent boy.
He's just a poor boy from a poor family.
So, anyways, they need to peace the fuck out because, they don't need to be there anymore. So they leave. He gives 2 of his blades to the women. They leave also the food, and he's not happy about this because he's like, my mate's going to be the one that suffers. But she promises with soft pats and smiling eyes that she is fine. She is pulling her leader duty and trying to take care of her people. So they're going to leave. They're going to leave the women there.
And he can appreciate that.
Yeah, they're going to leave the women there only because Georgie's fast enough and the girls are suffering. So the plan is leave the girls there, go back to his tribe, get people to come back to help them out, which is why they're leaving the knives. So him and Georgie, peacing the fuck out. And he's going to carry her because it makes sense and she's slow. And he's got this. But no matter how long he's been carrying her, he is not putting her down because he is far more suited for this travel than she is. And they are going to stay at a cave on the way. Guess what, bitch? It's not really a cave. He thinks it's a cave. Oh, prior to all of this. So they get to this cave, right? They fuck. You're welcome. So much fucking. But then afterwards, Georgie realizes, oh my God, this is a fucking spaceship.
And he's taking her to the ancestor cave of his people.
Prior to getting to his actual people.
Right. It's just a stop along the way.
Yeah. They stop at this elder cave.
His ancestors.
They fuck. She realizes after they fuck, oh my God, it's a spaceship. Holy shitballs. She's like trying not to freak out. And she's like, oh my God, let's light some fire in here to kind of melt down the ice a bit. And oh my God, maybe this spaceship means that we can go home because duh. And she sees a button, a random button. And she goes, is it dumb? Is it dumb to press a strange button on a strange ship? For the record.
Yes.
Yeah. But she does. She pushes it anyways. And then nothing happens. And she's like, well, that's disappointing. And then all of a sudden, things start happening. And something starts talking to her. And it's a voice. And it just says, query, language, Earth English. Is this correct? All I can think of is Alexa speaking.
Or Siri.
Or Siri, yeah. So basically, the ship has artificial intelligence programmed within it with 20,000 common languages. So she's going to speak to it. She starts asking questions about the planet, how far from Earth this planet is, how old this planet is, what the fucking, asking all of these things. asking how the ship
because she
got
finally
there.
has somebody who can actually hear her and understand her and actually communicate, even if it's a computer.
Yep, even if it's a computer. So we learned that the ship was keyed to a specific pilot and that pilot experienced congestive heart failure, and a secondary was unavailable to pilot the ship, and a distress signal was launched, but no further signals were sent. So she's like, oh, fuck, Vector's people aren't. She thinks that his people were stranded here too. So then the computer explains that, like, his people have a symbiont, and it's called, that's what he's calling the Qui, and basically the Qui
organism
adjusts you to the planet you kind of need it in your body, and it makes it so that you can live there. But you know what, if you don't have it there, oh my god, you're gonna die in 8 days. So just genetically modifies
your body
it.
just can't handle the air,
right? So but once it's implanted into you, the Qui cannot exist outside the host for longer than a few minutes, and basically she can't leave. If you get the Qui, you're stuck here. And oh my god, guess what else this ship can do, guys? It can implant his language into her brain. So it's like, do you want this? She's like, fuck yeah, I do. Sounds great. And a red little laser goes right into her brain hole. And
she wasn't expecting that.
Wasn't expecting that. And then it happens, and then she collapses.
That escalated quickly.
Yeah. And the computer just says, please allow several minutes for recovery. And guess what? When she wakes up, she knows his language and they can communicate with each other. So fucking fabulous. Yay! So they talk, and she's going to eat, and she explains, like, she's making gagging noises at this food, and she goes, dude, this stuff burns my tongue and it makes my fucking eyes water. And he's like, humans have weak tongues. And she goes, we do not. He goes, weak tongues, weak eyes, weak bodies, weak in many, many places, but a delicious cunt. And she turns red and she goes,
your
you're
game
always
isn't
thinking
quite there,
about
buddy.
sex. And he's like, oh, only when it comes to my mate. And she goes, yo, I am not your mate. And also, I don't even know if I want the Queen. Like, and he's concerned because he goes,
want the Queen.
Yo, this without that, this means
she will die.
Fucking death. And she goes, I just only if I leave, like only if I stay. Only, if there's a chance I can go home, I just have not decided yet. And yeah. And he's just thinking like, oh, okay. It's not me she hates. She just doesn't like the planet. And she just wants to go home back to her people. And he goes, I will go with you. And she goes, I wish you could. And he just goes to himself, does she not realize anywhere she goes, I will gladly follow? She is my heart, my resonance, my soul, my mate. It grieves me that she is so miserable here with me. Just, he's so sweet.
Where you lead,
I will
follow anywhere that you tell me to.
This is not Gilmore Girls. So, you know what? Vector's like, we need to go tell your friends. So we go fast enough, we'll make it to the tribal caves tonight, and we can collect all the best hunters and return after them in the morning. And she goes, yeah, fuck yeah, let's do that shit. And
solid.
She was just saying that she also kind of feels a little bit guilty because she's there with him and she's warm and happy and fed, and they're not. And he just goes, and because my cock makes you cry out with such pleasure. And she goes, okay, let's just keep such talking between us. Okay.
That's it.
And he calls her my resonance, and she goes, what is that? And he goes, it is this. Only you call to it. Only you make my quee hum in my breast with happiness. She goes, I thought you were purring like a cat. He has no idea what the cat is. He goes, a snow cat? She goes, you know what? Fucking never mind. And she does wish that it was just her that she had to think for, because then this would be so much easier. And he just goes, accept the quee. Accept me. And she says, something has to be my choice, and so many things have been taken from me, and I need to claim something for myself. He understands, and he's like, I can't refuse you literally anything. So she's just trying to decide between all of her different choices that she can do. They can go home, they can leave the ice planet, they might risk being cattle by fucking aliens, or they can get this little parasite and make the best of things there. And, it's just, if it was just a single individual choice, it would be super easy for her, because the thought of I mean,
she's got people to look out for, and she's got a whole bunch of other people.
She is the badass leader bitch that we need. But she decides, they all need to discuss it together because everybody had their choices taken away from them, and she's not going to make the choices for the entire group. So they head to the Hunter Caves to gather all the people, all the men, and the men are like, what is she? And Vecto's like, she is Georgie, a human and my mate.
Sure, she.
He calls her Georgie in her.
I know.
It's just funny because I think he just goes back and forth with it because he can pronounce it. Shorshi. Everyone else calls her Shorshi.
My Shorshi.
So
my Shorshi.
Yeah. So, but then she's like putting her arm around his waist and rubbing his ridges, and he goes, "Wait until we are in private." Because this shit is turning.
I have to be a leader in front of my men. Don't start right now.
Yep. And Rahash.
I always called him Rahash.
I don't know why I want to add an extra O in there. Rahash is like, her eyes. Vecto's like, yeah, she has no queen. We're gonna fix that problem soon. And she goes, we'll talk about it.
Hold that thought.
Hold that thought. So, but they're gonna send her to the healer just because her wrist is still really shitty, and get some food, and they're gonna sleep in his first. They are gonna go get the others in the morning, and everyone's like, there's more women. Are you really? Hell yeah. Like,
but wait,
yeah, there's only
more?
4 adult females in our tribe right now, and all of them are mated, and holy shitballs, this is gonna be great. And we learn Vecto, the chief of all of these people, and that these men will do whatever he says because, they'll listen to him because he's the chief. And any man who wishes to mate with a human woman must have their agreement, because that is her deal, is that they need to let the women say yes. And
let the women choose.
Rahash is like, but resonance, and Georgie just goes, doesn't happen for humans. So, yeah, they're going to have to do that. So, whatever.
Because they live their life reliant on this Quee, and if the Quee says jump, they jump.
Pretty much, yes. So, but the whole village is so great, and they go into the cave, and it opens up into a huge fucking cavern, and it's got a heated spring in there, and it's great, and it's fabulous. Like, it surprised her. So Vectel introduces her as his mate, and this little kid just goes, "Mother, why is its face so ugly?" Vectel just explains that this is my mate and I resonate for her. She is
Which
beautiful.
kid said that again?
I don't know. It just says a tiny voice asks. There's no explanation as to what child this is that asks why is it so ugly. But
there weren't that many at the time, so I'm like, who was that?
I have no idea which one it is, but he just says, this is my mate and I resonate for her. She is beautiful to me, different but beautiful nevertheless. I have seen her bravery, her spirit, and her will. She has trusted me when she has no reason to. She has given me her body when she has no Quee to compel her, and it does not matter what any eyes think of her but mine. And to me, she is the most wonderful, most attractive, and most compelling of creatures. Oh, it's so sweet. So, but she is going to head over with Vectel to his cave, because why not? And he tells her that this is my home, and it is now yours too. So, not sex yet, but in comes...
You said because why not? And I was like, well, because sex.
So in walks Malak, which is the healer of the tribe. Because, she has problems right now.
Because Vecto wants her wrist looked at.
I know. She has problems. So Vecto, like, may I heal you? And she goes, yes, please. But then she informs her that, I can't do much for you because you don't have a Quee, and my Quee is a special one. It can call upon your Quee and encourage it to work stronger. And all she can really do is just rewrap it, and once she has the Quee, then she can heal it for her. And Georgie's asking her if she remembers when she got hers, and Malak's just like, our children are born helpless with no Quee, and they're vulnerable until they have passed 4 days of age, and then we hunt the great giant beast that has the Quee in it. Oh God. Sakost?
Sakost? I was doing it in my head. I don't know.
Isn't there a pronunciation guide in this book? I'm pretty sure there is.
Oh, in the later books? Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, so
I have one of the later ones.
This big giant beast thing, and they're going to Okay, we're holding. Do 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 do.
I didn't need hold music.
The butter.
Oh, this one doesn't even have the families with the truck.
I swear I thought it was in the first one, but I guess not.
No, I knew the families didn't have it.
Oh, you know what? I could not be a dumbass.
Let's see. It might be on this one. I have like 3 of them on here. Please hold. Series. Oh, she was doing it for so long. So weird.
You know what? I can't find a pronunciation, but this book has the dead in it. So
The dead?
yeah, barbarian. It has a list of all the families, gotcha. And then on the end it has the dead. So maybe there is no pronunciation. I swear there was. Okay, well, cost? It's a cost. It's a cost. Anyways, the big thing that they need to get the Quee out of and murder this fucking thing. But she's just wondering if it hurts, and they don't know because they got it as children.
I always said the cost, but I
don't really care. It's weird.
I don't care.
Yep. So then she asks, "What's with the purring?" And Georgie's like, "Yeah, the sound. It makes you purr near your mate, right?" And Malak just explains that it's more than that. One feels an intense surge of urgency when the Quee comes to life. It's like a rush of spirit. Bitch, it means you get super fucking horny, just so you guys are well aware as to what this thing does.
It tells you that it's time to mate, and the Quee has found you the perfect mate to make a baby with.
Mm-hmm. It gives you super possessiveness over this person, too. Like, you need to put a baby in this person, like, now. And Georgie wants to know if Malak, she was happy with the mate that it chose for her, because she's really trying to understand, like, this whole situation. And she just explains, no, at first I was actually quite angry. The Quee does not always pick who we think we want in our furs. Kashrem is a tanner, not a hunter. I was young and drawn to one hunter in particular who I shared furs with. And then she gives her clothes and she goes, I brought you these. Vectel says you're frequently cold. And then we learn that the person that she used to share furs with was Vectel. And she's a little bit stunned and a little bit of jealousness, but you know what? It dies away and she's filled with sympathy for Vectel because how that must have disappointed him to have a lover when there were so few women must have seemed like a gift, and then to have her taken away because she had the residence. So she feels he is totally getting a handy tonight. Her words, not mine. So all of these men have so many fucking questions for Vectel because obviously they want to understand all about this. And he's like, they got no tails, their mouths are small, they don't have fangs, they can't eat meat fresh, they have to cook it until there's no flavor. And, then they want to know what they look like. And he gives them a little bit of information in that she has fur in one other spot on her body, on her sex, and also a third nipple. You want to know what her third nipple is, guys? It's the clit. This man knows where the clit is. And he really goes for it all the time, which is great. Not all men know where it is. No. You can ask Vectel. Vectel knows, and he'll tell you exactly where it is. He just tells everyone.
Education is not what it should be in this.
No, it's not. Not even before that. No one cares about women's vaginas. No one cares. No one cares about women. Anyways, so he's going to get together like the group of hunters who are going to go help. And he gives orders to find rations, blandly cooked and not spiced, water skins for the women, foot coverings, extra leathers, blankets, pretty much everything that they need to so that they can head straight over to the humans' cave and get everything going. So they're going to leave in the morning. When they get inside the cave, though, to sleep, Georgie is kind of half sleeping, but he runs his fingers through her hair and he tells her to go back to sleep, and she, though, wants to fuck him. And he's like, no, you need to get some sleep. We'll have time. This woman instead decides to blow him. So she just does that. She goes right down on him. And then after that, he fucks her. And then she learns how great the spur is because she loves this. And he explains that, because she tells him that, oh, your Quee has stopped. And he goes, yeah, it silences for a time after mating. It won't go away until the kit arrives. And this is when she goes, excuse me? How can I have your baby? And he goes, that's how the Quee chooses. It determines offspring. A residence mate is the only one who can bear children. Offspring only come through the Quee mating. And now Georgie's like, hold on a second. You need to tell me, you resonated to me because you could make me pregnant? What the fuck? Oh my God, I am late, which means you could have gotten me pregnant. What the fuck? And she's like, you asshole, and then fuck. So oopsies. But Georgie has decided that you can't really stay. It's really hard to stay mad at a guy who really doesn't understand why you're upset. And actually, no, it is. It is easy. It's just really, really hard to stay mad at a guy who acts like you're the best thing since sliced bread, which fair enough. So hard to be angry when you see just so much joy on another person's face. And bringing Vectel that joy gives me sweet, sweet satisfaction too. And she goes, oh, maybe I'm more crazy for this man than I want to admit. So they're heading out and they decided to pause at the Elder's Cave overnight so that all the Sakui can learn English through the little brain zappy thingy. And this way they can at least talk to the women because we don't want just all grunts. So they do all that. And Vectel is like, I'll go in first in case there's something dangerous. And sure. And Kira is not doing well. They're all super pale. Tiffany is ashy and her skin's dry, and they're all super, super sick. Rahash is like stalking over the blankets and he holds a water skin to Kira and so she can drink and everything. And they hear someone resonating and they're like, who is that? Who is resonating right now? No one answers. So, yeah. But she tells all the girls, yo, we need to talk. They're feeling like a little bit better after eating and drinking and everything. And she tells all the men, yo, y'all need to like peace out for a little bit because we need to talk amongst ourselves. So she tells all the ladies, I brought rescuers. They're both a good thing and kind of a bad thing. So she does explain how she learned the language really fast and that if they stay there, that they are committing to an entirely different life and it's not a choice that they can make lightly. They're kind of like contemplating the idea because they're already weak and exhausted. They don't even know if another ship is coming back to get them. It's a ton of stuff. So she does explain that, also the Kui though kind of picks a mate for you. And Liz is just like, well, it beats being cattle, so whatever. And they ask her what she wants to do, and she goes, well, I'm kind of biased because like I'm pregnant with Vectel's baby. He is resonating for me, and apparently it means that despite the fact that we're not the same species, he can get me pregnant. So I kind of want to stay. And they're like, what? In a week? She goes, to be fair, I thought he couldn't make me pregnant if it was interspecies sex. Liz just goes, a Great Dane can still make a Chihuahua pregnant, and guess which one you are? So funny. They all decide, yes. And Liz is like, you know what? If a guy shows up with a hamburger, he can plant as many babies in me as he wants. So they are agreed.
Sorry, Liz, no hamburgers.
No, they're agreed though. They're gonna do this. So Georgie's like, yo, good news, they voted. They're gonna stay. Sounds fabulous. Side note, Vectel, you know how your men are here to like, I don't know, rescue 5 of us? There's actually like 6 more of us hibernating right now. Sorry about that. And he goes,
there's
great.
More?
6 more females? Fuck
what?
Yeah.
But this is the best day of our lives.
Right? He is not mad. He is so ecstatic. But they will be frightened and confused, so they just need to be treated, carefully. And she goes, yeah, some of them might reject the Kui, but that also still has to be their choice. So they, open up this everything.
The pods.
Yeah, the pods. They're the 6 long tubes. They're going to open up these women. Kira's going to translate for them. They're going to explain everything. It's going to be great. And Ehako?
There's a pronunciation guide somewhere.
Old place.
There is.
I know, it's right in front of me.
Okay.
Vectel, Georgie, Tali, Rahash, Liz, Shell, Harlow, Rook,
Rash,
Solea, Marlene, Zenix, Leonora, Malak. Oh my god, where the fuck are you? Hako. He's like, I don't know if my heart is beating with excitement or if it's resonance. And we're just calm down, Hako. Just chill for a minute. And they want to. Oops, I dropped my book. But you know what? They need to get the show on the road. So they're like, yo, there's a cost nearby, large one. Let's go. Let's fucking do this shit. So they're going to head out and they're like, yo, listen, y'all need to do stay over here so that when this whole situation happens, y'all need to stay in the woods. But oh no, shitballs. They also hear a high-pitched whine before they head out. Oh, Skedios. They're like, shit, the aliens are coming back. We need to vacate this ship right the fuck now. So, anyways, dupe, someone's purring. No one's admitting it. It's fine. They're going to head out, take this thing down. They removed the trackers, by the way, out of the girls because they had trackers all in them from the aliens. They're just going to leave them on the ship because, bro, if the aliens come back and they still have trackers in there, shitballs, they're in trouble. So it's fine. Women go to the trees. They're going to hang out in there. And Liz spots the big ass thing. And she just goes, what the fuck is that Jurassic Park shit? This giant creature. So it's fine. Men kill it. It's fucking disgusting. And they pull the gross shit out of it so that they can give the women their cooties. So that's great. So he pulls out the
glowing worm thingies,
heart thing, and gets all the little glowy wormies out. And they learn they have to get an incision cut into their neck so that the queen can go right into it. And like they're complaining, and like Georgie's kind of freaking out. She goes, "But what if it goes into my brain?" And Liz is like, "Yeah, like that's any better than your heart." Liz just spitting facts. But it's basically just the essence of life, and Bechtel offers to just do the cut for her, and it's like a sticky strand of spaghetti, which is disgusting. And the worm goes bloop in there, and she tells Bechtel that she loves him. So cute. And he just goes, "You are my heart, Georgie." So cute. And then in goes the cootie, and then she passes out and she's dark. And then she wakes up a little bit later. She's good. And she's kind of warm too, which is great because the queen is going to protect her. And everybody took it. No one said no. And Vactel's just like, you were brave and you led the way, which is why all the women were cool with this. And then all of a sudden, she just feels the rumbles, not in her tumbles, but in her chest. And then she is horny as hell. And Vectel's like, I know, I can smell you. We need to bang. So, but he tells her she was so brave, so great. But yeah, they need to fuck now. There is one person missing though. Well, two. It's Liz and Rahash. Rahash took Liz and
no.
And he'll answer to the tribe when he's not going to hurt her. He just wants to mate her. So he took Liz, which is wild. So it's fine. So they're going to go find somewhere private because duh. And he asks her like, do you want to rest? Do you need to sleep? And she goes, right now, I want to tear your clothing off and put my mouth all over you. So, and if she had panties, they would be completely soaked right now. So they are going to fuck, which is great. And then he is also going to fuck her from behind. And he goes,
whoa now, Nelly.
Because he's never done that before, but she doesn't have a tail.
Because she doesn't have a tail, so he can't.
So it's great. So he goes super deep into her, and guess what? Guess what's knocking on her back door?
Spur goes. Because the spur was in a great place before, and now it's in a different place.
Yeah, so they fuck, and they fuck a lot, and and then all of a sudden a bright flashes in the sky. Oh no. And it's a spaceship, and it hovers over where the spaceship was that they crashed into, and they hover and then they blink off and it's gone, which is so not great. And they're so sweet to each other, and they just are like, oh, you're forever part of this world and I love you. And so great. Hell yeah. What comes next? Our den together, and hopefully the first of many human and suck queen matings. They're like, that sounds great. They only get one resonance mate for life, and that's it. And guess what? That's the end of Ice Planet Barbarians 1, and it's fabulous.
And the stories keep going with each.
And they get better and better for every...
And more intricate. Like, they
end up adding more story, and there's just more stuff. And
it gets wild, and like
here's the thing.
Of it gets extra. But then there's this like one where there's one book these more girls, and it didn't make any sense because at first all the girls that were being taken were all the same age. And so it didn't make sense that they found these two girls that were sisters and that were not the same age. And I was really confused because it wasn't ever clarified. that
I wonder
they
if they just
were.
started giving up with
But
the age
well,
thing.
now that I've read further, I'm assuming it was just from like a different ship or something,
Oh, that makes sense.
or some kind of something.
Yeah. So
But
it's just,
who
so
knows?
much more happens. And then you're probably thinking to yourself, like, yeah, but there was only 11 girls that popped out of this ship. And you guys just said you're on like book 20 something. How did that happen? Guess what?
Shit just keeps on coming.
Shit just keeps getting wilder the further along this book series goes. And it's great. And like, I'm here for the ride. Are you here for the ride? You should.
Oh, yeah.
I know Georgie was along for the ride.
I am definitely here
for sure. It was great. Ice Planet Barbarians, man. So good. We have to. Who's your favorite character?
Oh,
It's
probably
so
Vectel.
honestly, love Vectel. He's so great. Honestly, I loved both him and Georgie, the two of them.
Yeah, it was a fun ride.
And it's nice because they're very strong characters and they stay strong characters throughout the rest of the series too.
They're still strong now in, little
Yeah.
bits and pieces.
Because they're like Vectel is the chief and now she's going to be the chief's wife person, mate forever. And she really does take her role very seriously as like a leader and trying to make people feel comfortable. And I love that. And I love that for us. I didn't really have a least favorite character. The only people I didn't like was the alien dudes because they're bad guys. Don't worry, because later in the series, there is actually like female main characters that I don't like. Only one realistically. And you know about it though. I just fucking hated her. I didn't like her book. It has nothing to do with the book. I just didn't like her as a character. She was just whiny.
Yeah, there was a couple that were kind of wild.
Yeah.
And a couple of the stories that weren't as good as the others and whatnot.
Yeah, someone as
But I mean, as a whole, the series itself is super cute. I always tend to rate it about 3.5, 4 stars because of what it is. They're just kind of quick little reads.
This first one's just on another.
You just don't take it very seriously, and it's just it's I like to use them as those nice in betweens,
like a palate cleanser.
Yeah, just kind of.
And when I'm in a reading slump, I know that if I'm going to pick up one of these books, it will get me out of whatever slump I'm in. They do get longer the further along the series gets, but at the same time, like, yes, because this book was only 180 pages. Like, they do get longer, but they're not so long to the point that you're like, okay, well, this is pointless. Why is this so long? You're just adding stuff into it. There's story and there is actually stuff into it. And yes, this is alien blue, like blue alien smut. Really not that deep or not that serious, but it's still good. It's still got story to it.
It's not just like smut for the sake of smut. There's some story.
Yeah, it's great. I love it. So Amazon gives us a 4.2 and Goodreads gives us a 3.6.
What did you rate it?
A 4. I love this book. Most of mine rate about a 4.
Originally when I read it, yeah, most of mine are about a 4 too. Originally when I read it, I think I rated it a 3.5 just because of what it was. It was just like a quick read, but I would probably call it a 4 now.
Look at that.
What was your cucumber rating?
Oh boy. I'm thinking like a 6 or a 7. I really liked it.
Probably a 5 for me.
There. You got so much stuff.
Yeah, probably a 5 for me. It was just a quick, but it had quite a bit.
Imagine getting woken up like that though.
Yeah, baby.
Survivability.
I will say that is one thing that is so great about Ice Planet Barbarians on a weird level like that is they worship their women.
Yes.
Especially in that way. Blowjobs are not a thing in the Sequi life. The women are having to like explain that to them but they go down on their women.
Listen, my favorite part is later on in the series when one of the men discovers the G-spot and then he has to tell every single man in the village what the G-spot is and like how to find it. And like they are so
the she-spot.
And I think that's partially why I also really love this series.
It's weirdly wholesome.
It's a weirdly wholesome series, and like the fact that these men literally worship the ground that their women walk on. It's so crazy and it's great. Survivability.
Yes. I think I'd do fabulous.
I would do great.
I'd be really cold and that would suck, but I would
but once you get that queen, you're not nearly as cold, and then you can just snuggle up with your giant blue alien man.
Yeah.
And it's fine. My vagina would be never the same, but that's okay. I don't even care.
It doesn't matter.
You're with that person for the rest of your life, and hell yeah, my quality of life would be so great. Would have to really readjust to like the food situation, but that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah, but they make do.
I mean,
Yeah,
throughout the whole series,
they figure out like sugar. They like some kind of form of sugar. They figure out.
They really do discover so many different things. It's great. It's a great series. So if you guys want to hear more of these, we would totally do more of them. I'm here for it. And if you want to join us in doing one, you should just like message us and we'll be like, okay, hell yeah, sounds great. We'll do that.
Yes, join us, hit us up, and make sure to like and subscribe and share and rate us and all that jazz.
Do all those things.
And make sure to keep reading.
And keep it smutty with Alien Dick.
All the time.
But I'm where I need to be.